Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. Tornadoes are tearing across America in record numbers, with Kansas the latest state to be hit by a series of twisters. At least one person was killed and more than 130 injured as the vicious storm left a trail of destruction. Tuesday was the 12th consecutive day where at least 8 tornadoes were reported, breaking a 40-year record.
Oh my God!
It's like something from a Hollywood movie.
Oh my God, it's huge!
This just one of the tornadoes to hit Kansas.
Oh my God!
The National Weather Service received reports of around 20 twisters in one night here. Storm chasers capturing every moment on video. And this is what's left behind. Homes reduced to rubble. Once a community, now more like a war zone. Hundreds of miles away in Ohio, residents are returning to salvage what they can. Some of them lucky to get out alive.
I got up, slipped on my slippers, grabbed my glasses, went around the bed, and was sitting in front of the bed. By that time, that's when the wall fell, and I was on the ground. But I was trapped. My neighbors pulled me out through a hole on the side.
The speed of the devastation took many by surprise.
Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do all this.
Man bought this house 2 years ago.
In parts of Arkansas, flooding was the major issue. Water reaching halfway up homes, while others were completely submerged. Forecasters warned it may take weeks for the flooding to subside. Passengers at Missouri's Kansas City International Airport were evacuated, but these people were going nowhere fast. Some travelers stranded for days as airports closed due to safety fears. This is tornado season in the Midwest, but this year has been particularly relentless. More than 300 twisters have hit the region alone in the last 2 weeks. Huawei has warned that billions of customers could be harmed by US sanctions, which it says sets a dangerous precedent. The Chinese telecoms giant was placed on a blacklist earlier this month, banning American firms from doing business with the company. Huawei, which has repeatedly denied it's controlled by the government or intelligence services, has launched a legal challenge against some of the restrictions.
We believe that US politicians are using cybersecurity as an excuse to gain public support for actions that are designed to achieve other goals.
Allahu Akbar.
Airstrikes have killed at least 7 people in northwestern Syria. The government, backed by Russian forces, has been targeting the south of Idlib province and parts of Hama. The Union of Medical Care and Relief Organizations says more than 220 civilians have died and over 700 have been injured in the past month. The UK's former Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson, has been ordered to appear in court over allegations he lied about Brexit. In the run-up to the referendum, the Leave campaign stated that Britain would be £350 million a week better off outside the EU. Opponents argue it was deliberately misleading. A judge has ruled he must answer a private summons which accuses him of committing 3 offences of misconduct in a public office. The allegations could impact his bid to become the next Prime Minister. Formula One stars joined thousands of fans to pay their final respects to the motor racing legend Niki Lauda, the 5-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, the former California governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, and President Alexander Van der Bellen were among those to attend a requiem mass in his honor. The Austrian driver died in Switzerland last week. His body has been lying in state, where his coffin was topped with his red crash helmet. The triple world champion was later buried at a private funeral. A section of President Trump's proposed wall is being erected along the US-Mexico border without federal funding. An American organization has managed to raise more than $22 million in just 2 weeks through a GoFundMe webpage. The US-Mexican Section Secretary says the wall has not been presented to the Commission for approval. And finally, it's being described as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A zip line from the iconic Eiffel Tower is giving thrill seekers a new perspective of Paris. The 800-meter ride begins 115 meters from the ground and ends around a minute later, which means some travelers are reaching speeds of 90 kilometers an hour. And that's your international news around the world in 5.